Hi, welcome. You know what? I just actually made a post on Twitter. Go check it out.
How about that?
Okay. After a very serious meeting with my youngest daughter yesterday, who did indeed call me out for some things, which were accurate, I posted. Anywho, hi, how are you? I'm Amy Beth Shaver with JP. Only a few more days till Sinclair is back in the house. But we're here today and we have quite the show planned for you. Also, just so you can look ahead, tomorrow we have a great guest. JP, are we going to say who it is? Or just like keep people in suspense?
I mean, we could say who it is. Tomorrow we'll be having on candidate for Lieutenant Governor John Wall, either in studio or virtual. We don't know yet. And allegedly, next week we'll have his candidate Wes Allen on. We're still working out the details on that, but we got a date nailed down for next week, so we'll see. But yeah, we'll be having John Wall on tomorrow.
Do we have anybody else coming on tomorrow, or is that in the air?
I think it's in the air.
I'm just putting it out there. The mystery and intrigue I know is killing you, but you're gonna have to tune in. And then on Friday, of course, the Bussy Brief, and we may have other people on. You don't know. So before we do any of that, that's for the rest of the week. Today is Wednesday. It is What the Hale County Wednesday.
What in the hell?
What in the Hale County? That may be the voice that we have to do Hot Flash News in. And I know Sinclair is not here. And I know that no one can do Hot Flash News like Allison can, but we're going to try. And I have stories for you that I hope you'll go, what in the Hale County?
Mm-hmm.
That's the response that I'm looking for. Okay. Is it going to be in a country voice? I don't know. Is it going to be regular? Who knows? That's neither here nor there. First this morning, we're going to get puppy tails updates. Right that? We have our words of the day. We have a quick tour around Twix. We will have the montage. And we're also going to recap last night because JP was always planning on going to the forum. It was outstanding. It was clearly the place to be last night. I'm only saying that because the room was packed and they had to get extra chairs. And thank God they actually turned the air conditioner down.
Yeah, eventually.
Oh, I mean, it was hot for a minute. It was like July church. And you know, like how it's really musty and hot. And you're like, I don't think I'm going to make it through this.
It's muggy.
And then they turn the air down. Thank God. So that's the schedule. That's the plan for today. I like a plan. We all like a plan. I'm firstborn, so you need to know I love plans. I don't wing it very well.
Yeah, I'm a firstborn too, and I'm kind of the same way.
Really?
I am the same way.
Listen, Chris is a firstborn, but he's more fun. He brought the let's wing it a little bit out in me. But I need a plan. There's nothing really spontaneous about me. I wish that there were, but there's not. Are you the same way?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I can be spontaneous. But when it comes to like work and other things like that, no. I need a plan for sure. Yeah.
I like
it must
plans.
be a firstborn thing.
I think it is.
I mean,
I definitely think it is.
I'm my mom's firstborn. I got 2 older half brothers, but yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
All
like
right.
I'm the firstborn, but also the middle child in the family. It's funny.
So you wear both hats.
I do, yeah.
You play the role well.
Yeah.
All right, JP, before we do our words of the day, we need a little update on the pet Tales from Pet Sitting Landia.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us know. And I hope your day is better than mine. I've already cleaned up dog poop.
Oh. Well, I've already cleaned up cat poop, so
I think you win. But what else? How are the pets? Have you changed a diaper successfully?
Okay, well, not by myself. I had a neighbor's help that was very nice and willing to help whenever she was bringing the dogs. Because for those who don't know, while the Sinclairs are gone on their vacation, I've been pet sitting at their house for a week today. And she has a paralyzed cat. Her hind legs are paralyzed. Her name's Kitty Bear. And if she's going to be inside, she has to wear a diaper. Well, let's just say she does not like having her diaper changed. Just saying. And so the neighbors have a dog that they'll come over. I think they're there right now, and get Allison's dogs and bring them over, and they can play with their dog while I'm gone, and then get run around and such. And that neighbor was very nice enough that whenever she was bringing the dogs back, and I was there to help me change Kitty Bear a couple of times. So, but successful by myself, no. So then so yesterday, so she can be in a screen patio with a litter box on her own without a diaper. She wanted to be out there all day yesterday. And so last night when I got back from the forum, I brought her in, tried to put a diaper on her. She tried to bite me, and then she drug herself back to the door to go to the screen patio. So she just slept out there. It was just fine. And then this morning I brought her in from the patio, tried to diaper her again. She tried to bite me again, and then dragged herself back to the patio door. I was like, okay, fine. You can stay back up. You got food and water. You're fine. So she is diaperless on the patio. You know what? She can have her way. It's fine.
Those are things you don't think are going to come out of your mouth as an adult.
Yeah. And Allison's dogs, they're very, very sweet. They are the best dogs. They are also very, very energetic. And Allison's daughter has a 6-month-old puppy, I think. Wow, once you get that October, so that's like 7 months or so. And he cannot be left alone without being in the crate. And with me being at the forum last night, he was in the crate for a long time yesterday, and I felt really bad. So I had them both sleep with me outside of the crate. And they woke me up at 3 a.m. needing to go potty. Fine.
See, that's where you're a good man. Because when dogs come to the shavers, you're going to have to make it through the night. I'm not getting up to take you out. So I am very impressed with you. I'm super impressed with you.
I love dogs. I've always loved dogs. I got a heart for dogs. So like, I'll probably be the way if like I have a daughter or something, but like if you need out and you like whine, I'm like, okay, I'll just take you out. It's fine.
You know what? That's going to be very helpful someday when you change diapers in the middle of the night for your actual children.
I'll be fine changing human diapers. Cat diapers?
No. That's a no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
Well, you know what? That's a whole thing. And like I said before the show, because I'll have to have Chris come on and tell his cat horror story because it happened when I was moving our daughter Wesley to Charleston, South Carolina. It was a horrifying story, and she attacked him, but at that point she only had 3 legs, aka tripod. And it is my contention that with both the paralyzed cat and one extra gimpy leg on this paralyzed cat and my cat without 1 leg, they are never the same. They're angrier than they already would have been. This is my contention. And I bet other people who have cats specifically, dogs seem to recover better. Like I've seen some tripod dogs. But I think cats are going to stay angry and they're going to let you know about it.
Yo, yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, Kitty Bear is scrappy.
You've got to be, if you are going to live and you're only going to have 2 functional legs as a cat, you got to be scrappy. I think I officially crown her Scrappy.
Well, yeah, it's a good name for her because we were on the patio one day and she was trying to get up the stairs and she couldn't. And she started meowing. And I go over to, try to pick her up and try to help her. And she just refused the help. And she grabs the side, pulls herself up with her arms only, and and then gets to the next one, does the same. And I'm like watching in awe. And I'm like, it's like Lieutenant Dan if if he was a cat.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah.
That's
okay.
So, but that's the latest on
that's
Kitty
good.
Bear.
That's good. JP. So on to the words of the day. Do we have any music yet for words of the day? I feel like we need some Showcase Showdown music. Yeah, that's it. All right. It's time for the words of the day. Do you have your word?
And I can't change the volume on them.
I love that so much. I can't handle it. Okay.
You can do the Merriam word of the day.
Wait, my word left. Like what? No. My word of the day disappeared. Here we go. Word of the day. Here it is. I got to put my glasses on, guys. I apologize. These are giant glasses. They're just readers. No, that's not the word of the day. What's the word of the day? May 27th. All right, this is better than the word I was going to use. The word of the day can describe someone or something that is kind and generous, or something that is organized for the purpose of doing good.
Benevolent.
JP, did you look that word up?
No. I did not.
JP.
I did it.
Are you sure?
Right hand to the Father.
All right. It's a good word. We're going to use the word somehow today. Okay? Benevolent.
Kitty Bear is not very benevolent when I try to change her diaper.
We can go home now. All right, what's your word of the day?
All right, Gen Z word of the day. This word is used to call out questionable or dishonest behavior.
Sus. Yes.
Sus.
We're done. Bye.
I like that one. That one is good.
I love sus
That's
words. Like one of the stories that I just reposted on the Twix. This particular judge who's been suspended, her behavior is sus. How about that? Is that fair?
That's good.
Do you rate that as like I used it in a sentence properly?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, cool. That's great.
And if people don't know what you're talking about, explain a little bit. Just what's in Hot Flash News. But give a little brief.
All right. There's a story that we've been following. And last week, a judge in Birmingham was suspended for inappropriate behavior. And then and I learned from our friend Leland Whaley when I used to spend my Fridays on his show years ago. So I learned a lot from him. And one of the things I learned from Leland is don't respond yet. Just put the news out there, because the first reports of a story, or for the first report, is generally going to be wrong, or it's going to be missing elements, and you need the full picture. So wait it out a couple days, see what comes out. So that's what we've been doing with this story. It is going to be in Hot Flash News, but this judge, beautiful as she may be, and congratulations on being a judge, but apparently she is a bully. Apparently, there are questions about sick patients not receiving judgments in time, or family not receiving judgments in time to go visit them, and then patients died. Apparently, people were afraid of her. And also, maybe her docket or her day got delayed because her dog needed a walk. So we're going to cover that later today in the 11 o'clock hour in regards to Hot Flash News. So that's that story.
That's sus.
That's sus.
Not very benevolent of her either.
You know what? You're on fire. You're on fire, JP. So that story's coming up, and I can't even remember her name, but we're going to talk about it.
Also, real quick.
Yes, sir.
The Sinclair just texted or commented on the Twitter streams. He said, "What's up, my heifers? I miss y'all."
What's up?
What up?
Hey, our girl.
Wait.
How are you doing?
Oh, wait. Hold on. We gotta do the minute.
Listen.
I love when Allison goes on vacation. She's not even really vacationing.
No, we were discussing this last night, Sinclair. And it has been noted by probably your family and mine that we don't sit very well. And if we do, it's like in spurts. It's never to chill. And
I'm the same way.
You know, you're the same. Like, it's us. This is why we go so well together, because we're a little, I don't want to use the word frenetic. But what I want to know, Allison, because viewers want to know, is, are you resting? Or is this resting for you? We need to know. And what are you going to be doing today? And have y'all been to the Turtle Hospital?
The Turtle Hospital?
It's near where they're staying.
Huh. We
took the kids to a different island. They're on the Keys. They're at the Keys. I don't even know how you say that properly. And just down from the place where we stayed, Chris found one of the animal hospitals, and it was a turtle hospital, and it was incredible. And what I want to know is, did they go visit the turtle hospital? Because it has tons of sea turtles that have been rescued. They're rehabbed. Anywho. Okay. And I have a late addition to Hot Flash News, Allison. It's going to be Grayson Everett has an interesting tweet that he sent, and I'm going to use that too. So I've got 5 stories That's for the 11 o'clock hour. Now, though, JP, how about we recap last night?
That's actually what
Is
I
that
was going to
good?
say. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
All right. What do you think?
Well, okay. So for those who don't know, there was a runoff forum for the GOP last night, hosted by the Shelby County GOP in Pelham. It had Shelby County District Judge. It had PSC, Public Service Commission, place 2, and then it had Ag Commissioner, Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, and Senate. Is that all of them?
That's it.
I got all of them. It was tense. Okay. I'll just say that. I mean, I understand when you get to the runoff, you're kind of going for blood at this point because everybody is so tired and wants it to be over and they want to win also. So I would say everyone except the Shelby County District Judge one was negative to a certain extent. Some more than others. And we can get, I think the AG was number 1 in negative. Lieutenant Governor was probably 2. Actually, I don't think Ag Commissioner got negative. Did it?
No, Ag Commissioner didn't
No.
get negative. Ag Commissioner did have a question that people want to know about, and they're still making hay about it online. We'll cover that in a second. But I felt like, yeah, in terms of spice, the judge race was super calm, boring almost. But don't you want your judges to be boring?
It was very insightful.
They
Right.
were great guys. And so we're the thing that I took away from last night, a couple of things. One, very encouraged by the turnout. People care.
Yes.
And that made me very proud. Number 2 is the Shelby County Republican Party put on an outstanding event. Not only do people care and were they involved and engaged, but they put on a great event. Number 3, JT is a riot. And I thought he brought a bit of fun that was necessary. His attitude really, I think, set the tone, and I loved it. I'm here for it. I think that kind of joie de vivre needs to be part. You know what that means?
No.
The joy of life.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That joy of life, that even though it was serious, he's a funny guy. And I really thought he did a good job. Just letting the candidates talk, but injecting humor where it was necessary. Now, as for the races, I'm going to rate them on a jalapeno cheeseburger scale. We talked about it in the car last night.
We did.
And I don't like jalapenos. I'm going to say a 1 or no jalapenos, and a 5 is like all the jalapenos in the world are on this cheeseburger from Burger King.
Yeah.
It is a triple stack. I think the closest we got to the triple stack jalapeno burger was Jay and Catherine.
Oh, for sure. And actually, if you want, I got a quick interaction of them from our video.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Why
play
don't you
that
do that?
eventually.
That'd be great.
This is a here, let me get to it in the video. This was a real quick, some of the back and forth between Jay and Catherine last night, talking about Catherine's alleged dark money funneling into her campaign. Tonight, in case you weren't able to be here yourself.
My opponent has taken over $3 million in dark money.
You're going to want an attorney general that has national relationships. You're going to want an attorney general that can walk in on day 1 and be supported by the other 27 Republican AGs.
So that was just a little bit of the back and forth. Pretty much Jay was saying you're gonna dance with who brought you, and claiming that Catherine is supported by dark money national PACs, whereas Jay supported by Alabamians. So,
and what I thought was interesting was Catherine's response was, I have the national relationships with the National Attorneys General Fund and their support. But she was very clear to say it's the same money that Jay had gone after himself. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting that as conservatives, and I know this from the last organization I worked with, that conservatives prize their privacy when it comes to donations. So I think we have to have a nuanced conversation about, what do you mean exactly? What are you asserting? Are you asserting that the gambling money from North Alabama that really is permeating these races, now that's dark money because you can't really trace it? Or is it that you have conservative donors who prefer their names to be shrouded in secrecy because they just want to support the person without who they are getting in the way of that support? So that's a conversation, but I thought that was an interesting response. So to me, that was on the triple stack jalapeno burger. That was the spiciest it got. But who knew that Public Service Commission place 2
Mhm.
was going to have like maybe a 2 on this? Maybe last night I said 3 on the spice. No, 2. I'm going to say it's a 2.
Yeah, Zig brought
What'd
the
you
heat.
think?
I actually I didn't have my phone ready to record anything from that because I didn't think there was going to be any fireworks. But Zig Ziglar, he didn't really say anything negative. He was just kind of bombastic, and like he said, he would be the watchman of the Public Service Commission. And Chris Beaker, who is the incumbent, kind of had to play a little bit of defense and air cover for the Public Service Commission and like correct or right. Like he was saying that there's a lot of things the Public Service Commission gets blamed for that is not their fault and that sort of thing, which is not going to win you over with any of the people in the crowd who just want to hear how bad the Public Service Commission is. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'll say this too about the Attorney General back and forth. It'd be one thing if, like I'd consider Planned Parenthood or the Planned Parenthood PAC or whatever as dark money, but I wouldn't consider funding for a campaign dark money just because it's out of state. Like if it's conservative, and here's the thing too, with attorney generals in particular, you got to work with attorney generals nationwide, and you got to be plugged into the national conservative movement. I mean, because there's a lot of coalitions and other things that you're going to fight alongside other states with. So yeah, national conservative PACs are going to care about who wins attorney general races from state to state. Like that doesn't seem like out of the realm of possibility, or it doesn't even seem bizarre for that to be a thing. But I wouldn't call it dark money. Like it's just because it's national. Like I said, if it's very, very liberal or very, very anti what we stand for in Alabama, then that'd be one thing. But just because it's national, like, and he said something too, Jay did, about why would they care about attorney general's race in Alabama? Well, that like, and he knows that. He knows like how important the attorney general is nationally. Like each one has to work together. So I get that. I get why conservative PACs would want conservative or would want certain candidates to win. I wouldn't consider that dark money influence.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And I think for another day, actually, for a plunge, we should probably figure out what that all means, because it gets thrown around. It gets volleyed like a tennis ball. And no one knows what people are saying when they say that, because dark money could come from your aunts and uncles who live out of state.
Yeah.
So what matters is that Jay and Catherine, are running a really good race. They're running hard, and people are going to have to decide which one they're for. They're both qualified. So that's the other part of last night that I took away. Everybody is qualified for the race they're running for. Everybody can make compelling arguments for their positions and what they have done or they have yet to do. I thought that was great. I think we have a deep bench in Alabama. That's also great. But what we both agreed with is from now on, it appears that it is going to be a triple stack jalapeno Burger King cheeseburger from here on.
Yeah, I would say so.
It is only going to get uglier.
That was the one, like, if any of them were going to get into fisticuffs on the stage, it would have been them too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By the way, I pushed the break back a couple minutes. We can wrap up our thoughts on the other side if you want, but I thought we should play this interaction between Wes Allen and John Wall too.
Ooh, do it.
About Wes Allen's residency, or excuse me, John Wall's residency. So here's a little bit of that.
My opponent had a Tennessee driver's license. He admitted that. He was registered to vote in Tennessee under his legal name. At the same time, he was registered to vote in Alabama under John.
Peter, but I need to address this. The fact that you've had a residence in other states does not disqualify you from running for office, okay? Wes is forgetting section 118 of the Alabama Constitution, which clearly states if you're an elected constitutional officer, you have to reside in Montgomery. Same wording, reside. Wes Allen's voter registration and driver's license are from Troy. So if I'm not eligible to run for lieutenant governor, he's not eligible to serve as secretary of state.
Just like some of your other good friends.
That's
who
just
hold a residence.
That's just the fact.
Okay.
The constitutional
We're
fact.
trying to dilute the problem.
So look.
So that was another one that got pretty spicy. I will say this though, that one was a little more one-sided than the Catherine and Jay one. I feel like Wes was really
He was
the one
going
that was,
after John.
Yeah. And John, I think, really didn't take the bait for the most part until he had to. And I think that was a great response.
Because even in that response, Wes could not, just like some of your friends,
Yeah.
he did not answer directly. And so I agree with you. That was pretty spicy. That's going to get worse
Yeah, I think so.
along the way.
Well, I think Wes, I was surprised. I'm sure Wes is shocked that he didn't get the most votes in the primary.
I think so. I think that he, based on the interaction we had in that first forum at the Hoover Public Library, he really thinks that this is his. And you have to have that kind of confidence to even run for office, because it's a crazy thing to do. But we'll see where this goes, because if you have to go super negative, then you're telling us what the polls are saying. So I don't know. And then finally, I think Christina McGinnis answered that cannabis question, but I don't know. Can you answer that on the other side quick?
I think we can wrap it up on the other side, talk about that in Senate for a little bit before we get to
Okay.
the montage. I think that's good.
All right. Hey, this is the Right Side. We'll be right back. Come back to the Right Side. And let's be honest, this is the moment you've tuned in for, isn't it? I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair. JP's keeping us together today behind the scenes, but we're thrilled and honored to be joined by Speaker of the House, Nathaniel Ledbetter, and Chairman of the Alabama Republican Party and Representative Scott Hagan from Hartselle, Rainsville, right?
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
Rainsville.
I'm
You're
Rainsville.
Hartselle.
It's good to
Okay.
be here.
I wish we had more time to tell you that my dad used to moonlight at the hospital there, and I got to spend the night in the little call room. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's safe to say a lot has happened over the last couple of weeks, and this might not be what people expected, is the two of y'all sitting down right here with us. Talk us through how we got here.
Well, certainly good to be here with you guys. Thank you for having us, and certainly good here to be with the new chairman of the party. And Scott and I have had a lot of discussion over the last week since he's got elected, and he certainly has my full support. I think he's going to do a really good job, and look forward to his leadership. And I think he can bring the party together in a way that maybe somebody else couldn't. So I congratulate him on that position.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you guys for having us on. I think it's an exciting moment from here for Alabama with the House of Representatives, our caucus, and the party coming together, and looking forward to the work that we're going to have going in the future. And it's exciting for tomorrow.
Talk to us real quickly about the party for now. Does it feel united behind you? Are you feeling good about where you're going and how everybody is lined up behind you? Yeah, absolutely. So we have already hit the ground running. Matter of fact, yesterday we had a meeting with all the county chairmen, kind of seeing what their needs are and what's working, what's not working. So we're literally starting from the bottom, working our way up. But the biggest thing is a team, like we have with our caucus, working as a team, and then we're going to unite that gap between the party and the legislature for us to work together, because we're all Republicans, right? So I think it's going to be a very interesting, unique situation. I'm looking forward to it.
Talk to us, if you would please, sir, about the caucus and where everybody is right now and what you guys would like to do over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think the caucus is in a good position. I mean, we had a very good meeting last week, and we just need to go forward. That's what we told the caucus, and now's the time to move forward, and they're doing that. We'll have some strong legislation coming up today. The closed primary passed out of the committee, so we'll have it on the floor Thursday. That's a speaker's pick. I'm going to pick it for Thursday, so we'll get to see it on the floor. So I think we got a lot of good legislation out there, some of it in the Senate that we've passed through the House, some of it vice versa. So certainly got to get the budgets out. Passed the ETF off the floor last week. Look to get the general fund the week after spring break. So we'll kind of finish up some things we got going, but it's going well. I think the people out will be proud of the work together with the House and the Senate, with the governor's office. So we hope to continue that and look forward to finishing up strong.
I'm curious, this question is for both of y'all, so you'll have to pass the mic back and forth. But whoever wants to answer it first, how do you view what is the proper role and partnership between the caucus and the party? There's been lots of debate about that, how much influence each should have going forward. How do you feel about the relationship?
Well, I will say, Scott and I have talked about that already, and he's got an idea that I support of getting me and the pro tem and the governor-elect together and sitting down and looking at some bills that we can all agree on. I don't think we've ever done that before, Scott, and I think it's a smart ideal and gets us all on the same page. And I think that's being really proactive and trying to choose legislation that not only the party would like, but the people of Alabama.
Yeah, really excited about next quadrennium and next session. Just to see us come together and work together as a team, because we're all Republicans. We have the same beliefs, right? So having that with legislation and party coming together, and hopefully, the bill package that we present to the governor, pro tem, and the speaker, we get that through, and we're really going to have like a Republican day at the Capitol, and we're going to have all the state executive members there, and that night hopefully celebrate. And it's going to be a celebration for Republicans throughout the whole entire state, and I'm looking forward to it. So, and as far as our caucus members go, they're Republicans, conservative. We're literally one of the most conservative bodies in the United States. So we're hand in hand moving forward.
Speaker Ledbetter, this question is for you. We kind of talked to some people because over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of discussion about leadership. There's been some transitions about some of the, asking people what the main complaints against leadership or you in the speaker's office specifically. One of the issues that came up repeatedly was just the push for gambling, which I think is just kind of across the board. One person said, though, that too often the priority seems to go to bills backed by special interests or those closest to leadership rather than.
Welcome back to The Right Side. I'm Amy Beth Shaver. Sinclair is going to be back on Friday. Tanned and very blonde. So lucky.
Well, she's not going to be blonde because it's not a real blonde. JP. Sorry. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay. I'm
Meanwhile,
sorry.
my peeling, this is the first time in my life I've peeled this badly. And my husband said, my white half took over and made me peel. So I'm just jonesing for an Allison Sinclair tan when she comes back.
Yeah, she'll definitely be tan. Yeah.
We're going to have tons of merriment on Friday. But until then, we're going to do our best to have merriment anyway, because it's Wednesday. What the hell, County Wednesday. And the way I'm working that into our conversation is this. As we wrap up our take on the forum last night, excuse me, I don't have a button. I am asking what in the hell county about two things. What in the hell county about the Senate race? We'll finish there. But before that, what in the hell county about the claims people are making with Christina McGinnis's weed, cannabis, Flowerwood Farms situation? She answered the question based on where she did not have medical cannabis licensure, both in Alabama, Florida, and Colorado. But did you think she answered the question? And do I need to reach out and just say, could you please just put this to bed? Answer the question. Or did you think she answered? What did you think about that? Because I liked her rotisserie chicken. I'm all about the snap the chicken. But I also thought Corey Hill did a magnificent job. They did a great job. They didn't go after each other. They answered the questions. I thought it was great. But I'm wondering what you think, because that's the thing that continues to follow her, is this cannabis situation. And she acted like she answered that question, but then there are still people online who think, nope, she didn't answer the question.
Is it bad to say I wouldn't really care if she did own part of a, like, well, how does that really, okay, well, I'll say first, I thought she answered the question. She said she didn't own parts of a cannabis farm in Colorado. Now, did she like get refute each claim and say claim 1 response, claim 2 response, claim 3. No, but like you got 3 minutes or 2 minutes on each question. Like she's not going to waste her entire time doing that. I thought she answered it fine, just saying no, I don't, and then move on. But like, how does she's very qualified. Both of them are, Corey and Christina, but she's very qualified to be ag commissioner. She knows what she's talking about. She has solutions to problems. She seems very dedicated. She says she won't take a salary as ag commissioner. Like, tell me if I'm off base or if I'm missing something. But even if I personally wouldn't be for owning a cannabis farm. That's against my values, but I don't know how that would really correlate or have anything to do with your role as ag commissioner.
I think the inference is that you could potentially benefit from medical marijuana, stalled out as it is in Alabama, because you own an interest in that growing business. And I mean growing business, not like growing business. I mean, she literally.
I mean both. Yeah.
You're right. It's a double entendre. It's both and. And so she could potentially make a financial gain.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
And in addition to a financial gain, it could also negatively impact the citizens of Alabama, because I'm so sorry, unless you've driven through Washington State like I have, or Oregon like I have, or Colorado. It's been a minute since I've been there, but I bet my cousin could answer. It stinks. Mm-hmm. Take the cars you pass that you wonder how they're driving because they've hotboxed in their car, and then they get on the highway and they're like zoned out, but it stinks. Mm-hmm. Times to infinity. It smells so bad, it almost makes you want to throw up. So there's that inference that influence would impact whether or not we get medical marijuana in Alabama. And beyond that, would we get marijuana in general? Because we all know, even though physicians can already prescribe Marinol, people are like, no, it's only the marijuana that really helps my anxiety. Okay. So it would lead to that. So it's kind of those concentric circles situation with the marijuana question.
That makes sense.
So I don't know. I felt like she answered it by laying out where she did not have licenses. Now, do I know where Flowerwood whatever has a license? No, I don't. But if somebody could just get her to say, here, that would be great. I thought she did, but by that point, I was taking notes and was still, taken aback by the Public Service Commission, a little bit of spice going on.
Yeah, I thought she answered it fine. I mean, she said she didn't, and
Okay, so Barry and Jared, I thought they answered their questions well. I think they both gave good answers. I think running on Barry's record, great answers. I also think, though, Jared gave compelling arguments for his positions and the things that he has done in life. Both crowds, both of their groups of people turned out big time. It was the sign war.
It was. That was interesting.
I was like, wow.
It's the only race there that,
signs.
It literally was 50-50 in the room. Like,
yes,
half had Barry signs, half had Jared signs, and everything Barry and Jared said, their signs. It was yeah.
It was
passionate.
It's passionate.
Yeah. I don't know.
Passionate.
That race as a whole, it's so the AG race, the lieutenant governor's race, it's kind of openly, unabashedly negative, but it's almost different with the Senate race. I feel like it's turning negative in a much more intense and hidden way. Like I feel something bubbling up in that race. It's almost like, Catherine and Jay, they can brah, 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 and then they just kind of shake hands, take the picture, and it's over. But I feel like the Senate race, there's something bubbling up. Things are starting to get negative, but the people are it's a very, very passionate crowd. That race, the Jared crowd and the Barry crowd are both equally passionate about their candidate. So it's different because it's not openly negative, but you can feel tension starting to get.
For sure.
And I get it. Like, it's a runoff for a U.S. Senate race. There's part of me that's like, yeah, it should be like that. And I don't know. There maybe some people that disagree with that. and maybe it's me, because I'm relatively, I've only really been interested or in politics. I've been interested in politics a long time, but like in the kind of the world of politics for a couple of years. But I kind of prefer the races. Like, yeah, this is important. The Senate race is important. Like, it shouldn't be like talk about your families and get personal and negative, but this is an important race, and it's competitive. And like, so I understand it getting a little bit tense. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not or get into it, but I did start to feel that start to bubble up being there within the crowds themselves,
I think, hey, duke it out over ideas. Let's like stay away from personal attacks. Not that I've even really noticed them, because while we analyze the news on a daily basis and we really enjoy talking about it, because what we believe is that good thinking, ideas have consequences. And so the way you think matters. We love all of that. We love ideas and the foundations for why we do what we do. But when it comes to these races, most Alabamians, as many people turned out, are going to vote in that race, and they're only going to decide at the last minute. Most people have election fatigue. Most people just want to go back to their lives, which is fair. But the deal is, our senator really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tommy Tuberville has done an excellent job. He has taken stands other people haven't. And so either one of these men have big shoes to fill. I think they'll both do a great job. I do not know how this is going to go. I believe this is the one that's going to be super hot and spicy. You need milk to drink after you take a bite of the triple stack jalapeno burger. And we're just going to have to tune in to see what happens. Whose ideas will win out? So stay tuned. We know you're tired of all of it. It is a long process. Trust me. I only made it to the runoff. My competitor won, but I can tell you that I appreciate those that are still in it. It's exhausting. And to have something to say every day to the crowd you go speak to is really important. So don't give up yet. We only have 3 weeks to go, but this is the race I think all eyes will be on.
Yeah. And maybe that's a later on more macro foundational conversation about how negative you think races should be in politics. I don't know if it's me, because like I grew up watching like combat sports, and like the two guys were like talking trash the whole time, and I think it's kind of a one-on-one. And obviously I'm not looking for a fist fight, but like I feel like when you're going for something important, like you want to win and it's competitive. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be a jerk and you need to be, whatever. But like, I understand things getting a little tense, like, yeah, it's a Senate race, so I don't know.
Before we go to the montage, this is what I'll say. And you're going to hear me talk about this book until I finish it. And then I pass it on to friends and family. But I'm reading Defenders of the West. I'm reading about gallant knights and very brave soldiers and big battles. And let's just say the Crusades have gotten a really bad name. But I'm reading about brave men doing brave things for the sake of the gospel. And as I'm reading about their bravery, I think we all need to go, wait a second, our tolerance for fisticuffs and maybe feeling uncomfortable because you feel the beef is something we need to get used to, because maybe this is their version of battling it out. And maybe we need to remember the kind of people we came from that are of strong stock, and they were willing to fight for what they wanted. And maybe we let them do it and just watch and see whose ideas win. But I am more and more inspired by that and by those stories and by who we are. Because we want everything soft and sweet and nice and sugary. And that, understanding the times, that couldn't be farther from where we are.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that they are duking it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know one better than the other, but really just watching them, like, do your thing, guys. What we want is a strong person to fight for us from Alabama and go and not back down on issues that matter to us. That's all. That's what we want. And so we'll see.
Yeah. There's a balance, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to be a bad person or make it personal or choke.
No, you
but
don't.
like, you know, I just like I understand to a certain extent. You're in a runoff for a Senate race, things are going to get a little tense. You know, I think that comes with the territory.
But at the end of the day, you got to be able to shake hands.
Yeah.
Just good sportsmanship. That's all.
Brad from Crimestone, he texted in and said, "What JP said, Cole, I'm not looking for a fist fight. What I heard, I'm absolutely looking for a fist fight."
What you heard from me. Yes.
I'm just saying, you know, if they started fighting on the stage last night, I wouldn't have been against. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, please.
No.
Do not do that.
No.
Because then I would have had
the
to
wives
jump
would have jumped up and be like, "Stop!" But then maybe the teachers in the crowd would say, "Hey, just let him get it out."
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So that's the one everybody's watching. We'll see what happens. Okay. How about let's montage before we get to a break.
Let's.
That's good.
Time for news.
Projected right now that in fact Ken Paxton has in fact won this runoff primary against John Cornyn.
Endorsements on behalf of Donald Trump matter, all right?
My opponent is the most extreme radical the Democrats have ever nominated. He's even running a vegan campaign, whatever that is. He goes by a few names that you may all have heard of. Some people know him as Tofu Tallarico.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
I appreciate that question, JT, but before I start, and I appreciate that Congressman Moore has a great Liberty score. I haven't had the opportunity to earn a Liberty score, but I can tell you that I've scored 21-0 against the Taliban over 60 combat operations.
A growing number of middle school athletes are tapping into the red shirt trend in delaying their start to high school.
Well, now some 13-year-olds are doing it by choice, hoping to get into a better school, a bigger scholarship, or more NIL money.
Listen, I lived that out with my son. It was never a question with the girls and their birthdays. But I saw that and I thought we must discuss this 8th grade redshirting situation. And I have an athlete, but I don't think this is anything new.
No.
And we probably should wait for the conversation, but I'm going to tell you, this has been around a long time.
Oh yeah. It was even common when I was in middle school.
Well, you know what? You and Will are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
All right, maybe we'll do this right now because we have 6 minutes. All right, here it is, because I want to spend a minute on the mom Donnie, on the horrifying comments he just made. That still doesn't make sense to me. And then Paxton and Tallarico, because the comments that Tallarico has made are unbelievable, but I want to take it as an opportunity to discuss something right quick. This would be in the 11 o'clock hour, because that's a what in the hell county situation. But when Will was little, people asked me if I was going to hold him back. He already has a September birthday, and he already was the tallest kid in the class. And I was like, what do you mean, am I going to hold him back? And they're like, for sports. What? Like, he's already the oldest. What do you mean, hold him back for sports? I had no idea, because when Emmy was coming along, and she's a couple years older than Will, they were doing it even then. And they would use this argument, well, the little boys are just not as developed and they just need a little more time. And so you should really consider it. And I'm thinking, as a mom, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life, because only 7% of kids ever even go on to play college athletics. And I think it's like a point something percentage after that they go pro. But this idea that they're going to play in college or get into a better college takes my breath away, because we've been there, done that. And as fabulous as it's been, I can also tell you it is fraught with pitfalls and pain.
Yeah.
And unimaginable suffering. And I You need to decide when they're old enough if this is what you want, but not when those little chicken nuggets are 4 years old or 5 years old, that you're going to hold them back so that they could have better opportunities. Come on. Look at mom. Look at dad. Look at their past. Do they have any sort of, did they play a sport in college or get close to it? Maybe. But for the rest of us, what are we doing to our kids? I think 70% of kids quit sports by the 8th grade because they just wanted to have fun with their friends on the team. And then it becomes so competitive, and you have this whole silly idea that you need to specialize. You need to specialize in a sport. And we did have a 2-sport guy. Like, our son played golf. He still plays golf, but he had to choose. So there's a lot of pressure on kids early. And what I don't think we've put into the equation, and please share your thoughts, JP, is what it's going to do to their bodies as they get older. Because what that means when they're in high school is that they play AAU, for example, or they play the perfect game, or they play 7-on-7, and they're playing game after game after game in one day on bodies that are not fully formed. And we're calling that normal. That's not normal. I talk to a lot of coaches. They don't want to see these boys and these girls doing what they're doing. And yet it's set up not for the kids and not for the coaches. It's set up for the people who make money off of them. So parents, as you decide that you're going to hold your kids back so they can have better sports advantage, what you're really playing into is a whole youth sports industry that's a billion-dollar industry. That's what you're really funding. And that's a concern, along with broken bodies.
That's true. I mean, think about it, Amy Beth. Your son is a collegiate athlete and went to a blue blood out of high school and is a great basketball player. Imagine if you held him back a year, he could have been a collegiate athlete and could have like gone to play great college basketball. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like he had the same thing regardless. I don't know. I agree. And it was a thing, the like 8th grade redshirting. I never heard it called that until now, but that was a thing when I was in middle school. I had a family friend who they lived kind of out in the country part of North Alabama. And the kid that was my age, the dad held him back an extra year because they thought they would help him with football and he'd be a really good quarterback if he was held back a year. I don't know. I kind of valued being with my friends in my grade rather than being held back to try and help me get a boost. I mean, I will say this, like there's the other half of me that like, so when I was in middle school, we had the 9th graders play on our middle school team against other middle schoolers. So we had 7th through 9th grade. And like there were some games where the 9th graders were just kicking the other team's butt, and it was kind of fun to be a part of. So like, it was, like I understand it to a certain extent. However, I don't know if it's worth it. And I agree on the specializing in sports. I played football, baseball, and basketball my whole life up until freshman year of high school. I quit basketball because 3 sports in high school is a lot. And the summer workouts where I would literally have to practice football in the morning, go to baseball straight after, and then come back for basketball that night. And it was just too much. So I just went to football and baseball, and those sports kind of merged together. But I agree. Like you should not be specializing in, I mean, I can understand with some sports like golf, like it's a little less physically demanding and you can spend all year doing that. But like constantly doing baseball and constantly throwing, it's not good for your arm. It's not good and like with basketball, like making it a business at that age is just not healthy. It's not good. Now, if you're really good, like if you get to like junior year in high school or sophomore year in high school and like, okay, you could be a D1 basketball player or something and you want to spend all, like, I understand it with that. But when you're a kid and like really young and you're in middle school and you're thinking to hold back an extra year to like give an edge, like it's not worth it. Like keep them with because that's the other part of it too. Like you don't think the school aspect, like you're taking them away from their friends and with a new group of people at an age of middle school that it's really like hard to do that sort of thing. So it is indicative that this is becoming more of a trend. And we've had conversations with certain people off the show, away from the show about this topic in particular, about how youth sports is being ruined by mindsets like this, where it's like a business and corporatism wants you to make the sport their entire identity. So you can go to the perfect game. So you can go to the AAU and other things. Like bring it back to like high school sports being the thing and like playing with your friends and making it fun. Little league, not the AAU or the travel ball, make it less of a business. Like sports are meant to be fun. And this is somebody who played sports their whole life. Like the best part about sports and the best teams and the best memories were playing with my friends, like it wasn't going to the travel ball and going to this and that. And like playing high school and little league sports with my friends was what made sports the best,
Let me just add that when you do travel ball as an observer, you also have the problem of kids being jealous of other kids versus your high school team where maybe that exists, but you're friends. And so you're going to work it out versus the travel ball and they just don't ever happen to get you the ball.
Yeah.
Or, there's sabotage going. Like there's so many things at play. So not only did we start holding them back when they were 4 and 5 years old, it's grown to the point where, like this story talks about, now they're doing 8th grade over again. None of it makes any sense.
No.
Because it just, like you said, JP, should be about fun, should be about human flourishing and growth. And what it's turned into is a money-making machine that only the people at the very top benefit.
Yeah. And I'll say we got about 30 seconds.
Okay.
But I'll say this, and we can keep talking on the other side if you want, but I think it's a good conversation. Like the best teams, like I would say the most fun I had in sports my whole life was junior year football. We were really good, but also it was kind of the junior and seniors of that. Like we were such good friends. And those are the people I went to school with, had class with, spent time with throughout the day. And like, we were genuinely friends. And like, you go to these AAU or these travel ball and these are just random kids from throughout the state. They don't care about they're there for them and they're not there for the team. They're there to get their stats up. They're there to, get their film. Whereas, the high school where you're playing with your buddies and like, if something went wrong, like on the field, like they got your back, like that's what sports is. That's the fun part of it. Not the AAU corporatism and some kid you met the other day, it's just, it takes the fun out of it. So,
yep, I agree. It's a whole thing. All right. There's so much more to get to on the other side. So go get your coffee and we'll meet you back here in a few minutes.
A fair, open process where conservative priorities rise naturally. What do you say to those criticizing you and the agenda of leadership? Because if you look, you have passed some really conservative things over the past quadrennium.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the record of this last quadrennium, I mean, it doesn't, just look at what's been passed. There's no question this is the most conservative quadrennium this state's ever had, period. If you look at my record as Speaker and Majority Leader, it's the most conservative the state's ever had. I mean, all you got to do is look at what we've passed. If it's DEI or if it's, the Choose Act or whatever, which we led the charge on helping getting that passed. It was a pick. And a lot of things with Scott passed, the boys and girls bathroom thing. I mean, this has been the most conservative 4 years that we've had. And as far as the special interest group, they all stay in my office and they'd know more about what they're talking about. Because there was 2 of them in there Friday, and I told them no. And one of them was Alpha on an ambulance bill that I think could serve rural Alabama very well. And the same thing with Blue Cross and those people. We tell them no more than we tell them yes. And so I think people that says that need to probably work a little bit harder to figure out what is going on, and they wouldn't have to make statements like that.
So then on the heels of that question, what did it mean to have 75 members of the House, Tuberville, support you?
It's humbling. I mean, it really is. I didn't ask for that. I mean, they did that on their own. And of course, Coach has been a friend of mine for a long time. I chaired his U.S. Senate race. And so, but to have that many members and Scott being one of them that signed that document, it was very humbling. I mean, it really was. And, the thing about it is, I think it's easy sometimes for people to say negative stuff about people they don't know. And the problem with that is it doesn't just affect the person you're talking about, it affects their family. Whether it's their grandkids or their wife or their kids. And sometimes I think we have to be mindful of that. So, to see after on the backside of it, to see that and to see our members come together and support me, it's really, really humbling.
It's hard. It is hard being on the outside. You know, we're not privy to a lot of the discussions that are had in the halls, and hopefully this can be kind of a transition point of inflection for Alabama, for the legislature, for the party, for the people. And that's a question I have for both of y'all. Is this a turning point for the state of Alabama? It felt a little bit like crossing the Delaware. We were like, oh, we're in new territory. And then being here today, I mean, this is huge to see y'all sitting down together, kind of tackling this head on. I know the people of Alabama will appreciate that. But moving forward, and you mentioned a little bit plans to open up discussions. What can you expand a little bit more on that? How is this different, and how are we going to put this behind us?
Yeah, so I mean, our caucus has always been together, right? So we are a team. We're kind of like an executive session when we're in caucus. So the things that we discuss and things we talk about are with us and our team. As far as moving forward in the future, I think, you know, with the party members of ALGOP and then our caucus, I mean, once again, we're all Republicans. We're all on the same team. Some of us serve at a different capacity than others. Some are more vocal than others in the party side. And we've got to respect different personalities. Y'all just had Ernie Yarbrough on the show, for crying out loud. He's a different personality, right? So he is very passionate about his beliefs. And you just got different. It's like a family, you know. You've got different personalities in your family, and I think moving forward, I'm extremely excited about tomorrow. I really am, because I think it's going to be something that our state has never seen before. The leadership in this body, and then also leadership in our party, we are literally going to bridge that gap that literally we have never seen before. And I just cannot wait till it happens.
So, staying with you, sir.
Oh, okay.
Just real quick. Sorry.
Next time we're going to be sure and get you a smaller microphone.
That's okay.
The only thing that would have made it better is like a little fuzzy dice, you know, making it look like that.
I think it's supposed to sit on top of it.
It is. And
can y'all not afford those either, man? Come on.
we can. This turned around so quickly, and we're so glad to be here that you gotta, you know, we're making do.
Yes.
Okay. These are awesome. I've always wanted these little lapel mics. I'm just saying. Why did you want to run for ALGOP chairman?
Yeah, so it never was on my radar, to be honest. I don't personally believe in titles. I believe in making an impact, the biggest impact I can. And there were certain things that took place after several phone calls and laying in bed. My wife and I were just talking about, and you know, your spouse is your best friend, and you talk about things with her. And she looked and she said, I think you would be a really good party chairman. Like, that's in your wheelhouse. And I was like, I think I would like that, you know, and prayed about it. And honestly, once I decided to run, and literally everything was falling in place, you know. And that's why I feel like when you're on God's path, things just naturally happen. You're not fighting against the grain on things. But that's really it. It wasn't on my radar whatsoever. And when we decided to do it, everything just literally fell in place. And I knew it was God's plan for me to do this.
And hello, I'm Amy Beth. He's JP. On Friday, I'll say, and she's Allison. But right now, she's.
It feels like she's been gone for so long. She
like
has.
years.
Yeah, but it has felt like a long time.
But we'll see you soon, friend. All right. Let's discuss. Nope. Your comments. See what I did there?
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And we can discuss.
And then
the
Mom
comments.
Donnie after that. But your comments first.
Yeah, if y'all want to comment in on the show, you can just comment on the stream you're watching, or you can text in to 833-687-4448. Earlier in the show, John from Miner on the YouTube said the word of the day sound was so funky.
John, don't you feel like that's like a word of the day?
It's got a lot of bass to it. It's too loud.
I love the word of the day music. But John, if you have better music, just send it our way. We are equal opportunity music people.
That's right. Also, Ashley on the YouTube. I met Ashley last night.
Wait, you did?
Yeah. Kenneth Pascal actually introduced me to her. She said, bought Defenders of the West yesterday. Looking forward to a big history lesson. Thanks, Amy Beth.
Look, I'm on chapter 5. No, it's not chapter 5. I'm still on Richard the Lionhearted. My mind just blown. I genuinely let's trade notes. Let's talk. If you want to do a book club, if anybody else out there wants to do a book club, it could just be me and Ashley.
A Rightside book club.
You guys, I am so down for that. I love books. I love ideas. And if you love them too, let's do a book club. Okay?
Be a great idea.
That'd be fun.
I would.
I will read anything, but history is my favorite.
Me too.
The older I get, the more I realize we've really got to understand. We're going to repeat. I know it's the same quote. If you fail to understand history, you're going to repeat the same mistakes, etc., and so on. Anyway, let me know. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
She also said Lenin and Stalin. This segues perfectly into our next discussion. Lenin and Stalin would be so proud of the socialist groundwork that Mamdani is laying.
Oh, gosh. So I was kind of half thinking about pulling one of my either Naked Communist or I took him home. Did I take him home? I
What,
did.
the Naked Communist?
No, I didn't take the Naked Communist home, but I took home Rules for Radicals. That was a mistake. He needs to go back up there. Do you have it?
I think I still got the printouts over here.
Okay.
Whenever you printed them out for us.
Yeah.
I do actually.
Okay. Because I'm thinking through the Mamdani. I've got questions. We'll talk about the questions in just a second, but I'm wondering, JP, if there's anything on the Rules for Radicals and any of the 10 rules that they created have to do with Zohran Mamdani, and if so, which one? Because it also absolutely has everything to do with Lenin and Stalin. So I'll pause right there. Do we have any other comments? We love hearing from you.
Oh, real quick, John from Minor, he said he meant that the music was perfect. He said
he did?
He loved it,
Okay.
and he said, "Love you guys so big."
Thank you, John. We love you big. And we thank you. All right. So then let's just dance right into that conversation. When I heard Zohran Mamdani claim that they will transfer ownership from landlords to state, I just like, guys, what New Yorkers, what are you going to do with this?
Do you want to replay the video real quick?
Can you replay the video? Because I had questions that I wanted to just put out there in the universe.
All right, let's replay for those who didn't watch Zohran Mamdani's statement yesterday.
If necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
JP?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just right there. Stop. Negligent owners, property managers, buildings neglected. This sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does.
But where communists start is not where communists end. They start and it's grand and like, oh yeah, who doesn't want to be a part of that? Yeah, those dadgum darn terrible building owners, they're neglected. Okay. Responsible stewards. And then he went on to define, in his words, what responsible stewards were. Land trusts, nonprofits, and this part was probably hard for him to say as a communist, or even tenants themselves.
Yeah.
Isn't that where it should have started, is with the human beings who own the buildings? How about just simply, if they're neglected and buildings are in disrepair, and let's hope not because of onerous restrictions put on them by New York City Building Code themselves. I mean, Are they all falling apart? I have no knowledge. I don't know. But why are people his last resort?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what he said?
Well, my first thought was, like you said, it sounds great on paper. Like, yeah, getting rid of negligent homeowners, landlords, and helping apartments and homes be safer and better for the tenants. Like, yeah, it sounds great on paper. But the key is that the term negligent or the it's in the eye of the beholder. It's subjective. So it's in the eye of the government. It's in the eye of Zohran Mamdani. So if you want to claim that an owner is negligent, aka maybe you just don't like them, and that's your way of, well, you're being negligent, so we're going to seize your asset and we're going to seize your property and give it to nonprofits or whoever or to the state. That is subjective to Zohran Mamdani himself and the New York government. So that's the problem. Like, it sounds great on paper, but when you put the onus on the government to make that decision, like it's in the judgment of the government to decide what is negligent, who decides or who deserves to get their property taken away. That's the problem, because then Zohran Mamdani is the decision maker on who can take.
And that goes right along with this phrase from the naked communist, and actually Marx himself, is seize the means of production.
Yeah.
And what are you seizing? You're seizing the place people live. And the thing that makes us different than many other countries is that we own our property. And it's ours. So yes, I understand we're dealing with buildings, but who's behind those buildings? Who owns those buildings? Are they already land trust? Are they already nonprofits? Who owns them? Because it's just a simple way, just the same way that he went around with the building inspectors on the door. I'm just here with these guys who are just showing me the ropes. Wake up, New York. This is so communist. It's terrifying. But to me, this whole framing of who gets to have the business was the thing that ran through the ticker tape of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, seize the means of production.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So it starts off well. It ends badly, to the tune of over 120 million plus people dead under communist regimes. When are we going to wake up that this man is a wicked snake?
Yeah. And just like how he lied about, he claimed that he cut the deficit to zero without cutting any social programs or increasing any taxes, when really he just kicked the repayment plan on all of their loans like 10 years down the road, and then deferred payments to people's pension fund, which actually hurts the same working class people that he's claiming to be fighting for. And then he'll come and say, I cut it to zero. It's like, no, you didn't. You just kicked it down the road about 10 years, So he's such a liar. And just like when he said that the state-run grocery store would be open within a year, and then what did he say, 2030 or something to actually be?
Many moons.
Yeah.
Down the road.
So I'm kind of at the point New York can just find out on their own. If y'all want to rah-rah and don't know history and want to learn socialism 101 for your own and how much it's going to suck, or you know what? They could be happy and live in ignorant bliss and be fine, whatever. They'll have to figure out on their own. But the socialism story always ends up in the same place. And it takes a long time to actually implement at all. And then after it's implemented, it's just a downward spiral, so.
It is a downward spiral. And I think the quickest way for New Yorkers to learn their lesson is all the millionaires and billionaires that will flee the city because of the taxes. They've already fled. They're already going to low tax states, mainly no income tax states. And people like Gretchen Whitmer, Kathy Hochul's like, I need to come back. No, they don't, and they won't.
Yeah.
But more will follow. And that's when they're really going to be up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
Because that tax base will be gone. And then he'll have to get creative. And then we'll really see his true colors. And by then, I think it'll be too late.
Who did he run off? Was it Griffin, the billionaire with the Pierre de Terre
Yes,
tax?
Ken Griffin.
Ken Griffin.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like
Not Ken Griffey Jr.
no, not Ken Griffin.
Ken Griffin.
Ken Griffin.
Who's a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, like that's kind of how socialism doesn't work, because if you're going to claim you're going to raise taxes on the rich and then have a Pierre de Terre tax where your second home in New York City gets a, what was it, 50% tax? It was a high
It
tax.
was stupid.
And yeah, well then those rich people are just going to leave, obviously. So then your tax pool gets so much lower. And oh, whoops. Well, how are you going to pay for all of these promises that we made if the rich people leave? Oh, the working class people, obviously. So then the same people you claim to be fighting for are getting taxed out of the wazoo and have no money. And, the people may say, when you bring that up, like the New Yorkers who are pro Mamdani, of like, I'm willing to pay all the money for everybody. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, I'm sure. You can have no money in your pocket, and then you can have crappy state-run grocery stores. I'd actually be willing to bet your apartments won't get better if the state seizes your apartments from the landlords and gives them to nonprofits. Like nonprofits and these the state and others are actually going to care about you.
And because they're so noble.
Like the government is actually more efficient than capitalist. I'm not saying all landlords are good. There's obviously some crappy landlords that don't do their job very well. But do you think the government's going to be better? You think the government has done anything good enough to put your trust in them that they will take care of your apartment? So yeah, so you're just going to get taxed more because the rich people leave. Your facilities and your state-run grocery stores are going to suck because it's run by the government. And then Mamdani's just going to keep claiming victory. Everything's great and everything will suck. So that's kind of the story of what's going to happen.
JP, I like that assessment. Basically, Mamdani equals everything's going to suck.
Yeah, that's
the story.
He'll say everything's great, but really everything will suck.
It's terrible.
Socialism 101.
But hey, you live and you learn. It's too bad because I love New York City.
I've only been
Love
once.
it.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
What?
When we went to New York City when I was in middle school, and we walked out of the subway, and we walked up. My cousins lived in New Jersey, so we went with my cousins, and we walked out of the subway and walked up the stairs, and like it was this grand reveal. And I remember my uncle, he said, "Welcome to New York." And I looked to my left, and there was a fist fight going on right when I walked up between like two drug addicts. And there was somebody also later on that was doing the fentanyl lean.
Oh,
he was standing there
scary
like
fentanyl lean.
Yeah. So I've only been once. It was cool, I guess, but it was really gross, and it was so I don't have any ambitions to go back, especially now.
Emmy worked in New York for a little while and off and on, so she was able to come home. But we were there before it got too crazy, and so it was still fun to go. We went back a few years ago, still okay, but now you look and you see the call to prayer, you hear what's going on. It's becoming a dump again, and Mamdani, aka Everything Sucks, is going to run that town into the ground after so much work was done to turn it back into the world's favorite city. And I think that ship has sailed. So, all right. So we don't like Mamdani. I think that's clear. Also, I just wish that people would look more into his family and all that they own and all the luxury property. I mean,
yeah, they're not a very they are a very capitalistic family.
They are rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah,
like start there and then move on, because if you just start right there, then it's illogical. The things that he says versus the way that he lives. But isn't that the way for all communists?
Yeah.
All right. So check. Check.
With a couple of minutes, do we want to briefly just talk about yet another Trump-endorsed candidate? Ken Paxton wins.
Yes, please. And then on the other side, if we run out of time, let's just quickly run through who he's going to run against.
Oh, yes.
But I was amazed. I don't know why. That yet another Trump-endorsed candidate won.
Yeah.
Because honestly, before this midterm, I think people were downplaying that. Like, is Trump still able to help people get elected? I think the answer is yes. What do you think? I mean,
I think yes. I think it varies from state to state. I think
that's fair.
So I think, like the Massey one, for example, I don't think it was the Trump endorsement. I think it was the flooding of foreign lobbyists and making it a $30 million race. I think that's what did it with that one. I mean, obviously the Trump endorsement helped a certain extent, but I think that the $30 million funding that race was the main story. I think in Alabama, the main story, at least from the politicos, has been the Trump endorsement has not given as much of a bump as people thought. Like Barry Moore is in a runoff. John Wall did win the most votes, but he's still in a runoff. So in Alabama, I don't think it has as much of a pool as other states, which is interesting because it's a deep red state.
Very interesting. That's a good point.
But Texas, I think that is what gave Paxton the win, was the Trump endorsement. So I think it does overall have a pool. And obviously, like Indiana, all the Trump endorsement or Trump endorsed candidates won. And there's some people claiming that Trump's undefeated and his Trump endorsed candidates winning, but it's a little incorrect because a lot of those are still in a runoff. But I would say overall, yes, Trump does have a big pool. I do think it varies from state to state, and there's probably other aspects that play into it. But overall, yeah, I would say Trump still has a very, very good pool in terms of his endorsed candidates winning. And I think that's what we saw with Paxton winning last. I think that's what gave him the edge to win.
I also think, as you're talking, and I'm thinking about this midterm, as people are realizing when you frame it as, look, Trump has 2 years left, 24 months, that's all we've got, that people are paying a little more attention, because I think you're right. It does vary state by state. I do think that his message and what he wants to get done in these 24 months matters. But I also think people are going with who he's validating, because there are things maybe people think will get done faster with some new people. John Cornyn in days past was a better Republican than he is now.
Yeah.
He became, I think, over time, a swamp creature.
Oh,
it wasn't always. And so I wonder if you look at the different candidates who were defeated, had they changed and had they become more swampy? I don't know. So I think it's interesting when we do the postmortem after November to figure out where those endorsements worked and why. But you also have to look at the kind of people he was endorsing, let's say, over the John Cornyns of this world. So it's going to be an interesting breakdown. But for now, it seems that Trump endorsement still matters.
Yeah.
Mostly. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too upset about Cornyn leaving.
No, I'm not either.
I mean, he effectively became like a I mean, the term is rhino, but he became like a God, what's the guy's name? The guy who ran against Mitt Romney. He became like a Mitt Romney rhino.
Yes.
Like very much anti-Trump, like just to the bitter end. And he became, and for like, if you're going to go anti-Trump on certain things like Epstein files or whatever, I get it, but he was going to the left of Trump. And that's the problem. He's got to go.
That's a great take.
Yeah.
Very good take. So on the other side, we'll talk about James Talrico and his terrifying stands. This is going to be a race. It's nothing to laugh off. This is a huge, huge race in Texas. But also, maybe we're going to do hot flash news. Okay, so if it's lunchtime for you, grab your lunch and meet us back here in a few minutes. Okay, don't go anywhere.
I guess we touched a little bit about some of the things that under your leadership have happened in the House: tax cuts, school choice, tough on crimes law, DEI bans, transgender sports ban. Am I missing anything else?
China. You're missing a lot. Yeah. Invaded property from, yeah, absolutely.
So do you feel like some people in Alabama have lost sight in all the hubbub and all the chatter that's going on? And what are your priorities for the rest of this session? And maybe, I know y'all plan ahead. It catches me off guard every time. Like, if we're not planning 2 years ahead, y'all have beat us in our, kind of what we want to lobby for in Montgomery. What do you see coming next quadrennium as well?
Yeah, I think you're right. First of all, the first part of your question, I think it's almost because of the social media and the world we live in today, it's changed. It's almost about what we've done today instead of what we've done over the past quadrennium. And Scott's right. I mean, if you Google the most conservative legislative body in the country, it's going to come up Alabama's #1. And it's because of the bills that you mentioned, a lot of them. I mean, the tax cuts has been $1.5 billion in the last 4 years alone. We've had a tax cut in every session. We got one this session on overtime. So, I mean, it's been a good 4 years. Our body has worked extremely hard. We got good men and women that serve. And Scott was talking about the reason he run for the chairman. I mean, the reason I got in leadership was because we were going through the turmoil when I first got elected, as you remember, with the Hubbard and all that went on with him and the governor and even the Supreme Court justice. That was all at one time within a few months of each other. So the reason I ran at the time is because some of the best people I had ever met, I served with in the House of Representatives. And I thought, if we can give them a platform where we can show the kind of people they are and let people know we serve with good people, and we really do. I mean, Scott and I are both the same way. I mean, there's not a place that I go in this state that I can't pick up the phone and say, listen, my car is broke down. Can you come and help me? And I promise you, within just a period of time, you'd have help from somebody. So that was my intent in getting in and running for leadership to begin with. So I think those people are still serving. Some of the faces change as we go forward. But, our state has been blessed. I mean, we have had the most successful run in economic development in the state's history. We're in the top 5 in shipbuilding, automobiles, airplanes, and now being a Lawston and with the submarine. I mean, we've never seen that before. Research, we're in the top 5. Agriculture, we're actually #2. I mean, our state is moving at a pace that we have never seen before. And I think sometimes we always wonder what we can do next. But I think we also got to look back and celebrate what we have done too.
So let's talk, because it's happening very soon. The closed primary bill came through Matt Simpson's committee. What is the bill exactly, and what are the plans for it?
Yeah, I don't mind talking on this one at all. I think I'll let you talk about the plans for it, and I'll just kind of discuss. So I watched it because we had a public hearing last week. Ernie Arborough is a sponsor, and I think it's time. It's time for us to pick our party lines and pick your teams and support your teams and vet the people that are going to be a part of your team, right? So right now, if you're a Democrat, you can literally you can participate in our primaries if you want to, right? Basically, if this bill becomes law, when you go and when they ask you after your driver's license, your valid driver's license at the polls, they're going to ask you Republican or Democrat. And whatever you request is you just registered, right? So then we already got a law now that if you do pick a Republican ballot and there's a runoff, you can't flip-flop, right? So if you're a Democrat, you can't vote in our runoffs. That's already law. So we might as well just do it with the primaries as well. But let's say you want to change your mind. 60 days before the next primary, all you do is fill out paperwork and you can change your decision. Now, 60 days was the big question mark. And I found out it's because that's when the absentees were sent out. So that was the only reason why, because 30 days, some thought that had been more appropriate, wasn't feasible just because of the absentee ballots. But I think at the end of the day, we've got different parties. I mean, you picked your sides, you're on the team. I don't see the big deal personally. I think it gives more structure to our party, to each party, to the Democrats and Republicans. They don't want us middling in theirs, and we don't want them middling in ours, right? So I just think it's a solid move moving forward for our election integrities.
Do you see it passing the House? And what are the chances in the Senate?
I think we get it through the House. I think there will be conversation. And we've talked about that some. I mean, we've always tried to be, as Speaker with the gavel, we always try to be amenable to both sides, in a debate. And I know that we'll probably have a lot of debate on the bill. After a period of time, we'll move forward. If we have to cloture, we will. I do think we'll be.
Welcome back. So, hot flash news in a second. We didn't play Would You Rather yesterday, did we?
No, we did not.
That's tragic. But first, this James Talrico, Ken Paxton race is going to be a battle. It's going to be a slugfest. It is going to be ugly. Even though last night they were making fun of a few things that Talrico had to say about, he's a vegan, he's running a vegan campaign. He is presenting himself as some kind of pastor, which he's not. The problem that I have is not only that Jesus never mentioned abortion, which is a lie. He's clearly not read the Bible if he says that. And if he's read the Bible and twisted scripture, well, things aren't going to go well for him. So he's got that. He makes comments about trans and other sort of unbelievable comments that we're going to play for you. But I'm concerned because Gen Z, if you look at those voters, like him, that's concerning. To me, he is the biggest threat out there right now. But people are falling for his arguments, hook, line, and sinker. He is a snake. So if you remember, Satan comes disguised as an angel of light, giving you everything you ever wanted, saying all the right things, very smooth and appealing. He speaks in a very calm, measured voice. Trusted. Trust me. But JP, can you play a clip of this cat that's everybody's going to be watching what happens in Texas?
Yes, I've actually got
Thank you.
I've got a couple here. We'll go from shortest to longest. I got 3 clips here. Here's
Okay,
him
thank
talking
you.
about the thing he thinks about the most is trans kids. And then there's also him talking about how he's running a vegan campaign. And then lastly, to end, we have a clip of him talking about, like what you said, that abortion is never mentioned in the Bible. So
something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Heard more and more issues of animal welfare. I think not just because it's the right thing to do and the moral thing to do, but also it's, as all of you know, necessary to fight climate change. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption and that we try to respect animals in all aspects of society. And so I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign. So we are only buying vegan products from our local vegan businesses.
Trust Texas women to make decisions about their own bodies, to shape their own destinies in consultation with their family members, their doctors, their faith leaders. I don't believe that's a place for government. I don't believe it's a place for politicians. I don't believe it's a place for the state. And that's a belief I hold not despite my faith, but because of my faith. Jesus never talks about abortion. The Bible is silent on abortion. And when that happens with a social issue as important as abortion, we Christians have to take Scripture as a whole, and we've got to try to make some kind of ethical determination. Right now in Texas, we have the most extreme abortion ban in the country. No exception for rape, no exception for incest. We have girls as young as 10 years old who are assaulted, who are raped, who are victims of incest, and who can't access basic reproductive care, who aren't able to make the decision about whether or not they are going to create. And again, just my personal belief is that we have to give women and girls the freedom to make this decision as moral agents, as our sisters in Christ. And I'm not saying that's an easy decision to come to, but that's where I've arrived.
Truly. truly. If you do not know that the Psalms talk about the Lord knitting together our inward parts, I can safely assume you haven't read the book. He knit together, he formed our inward parts. He formed us. It says that he saw our bodies when we were yet unformed. And it also says that he, like before one of our days was, he knew us. So that is an all caps lie to say that the Bible doesn't address abortion. What you mean is that you need women to vote for you, and you are using the lie that's trapped most women that no, the Bible doesn't address it. You can feel guilt-free about taking your child's life. And you can have whatever you want, have all the sex you want, do whatever you want, feel no guilt. The Bible doesn't mention it when actually it does in the Old Testament. And it is reprehensible that there are people who follow him, who are church goers, that think that this is acceptable. I cannot believe anybody, like right there. How do you not know that it talks about us being formed in the secret place? How do you not know? And where is that secret place? And where do we come from? We come from our mother's bodies. Every time he says that God never mentions abortion, I think,
Yeah, it's people like him that are the scary ones, because they can claim to be a pastor and they can speak such delusion and such evil messaging in such a convincing and persuasive way that convinces people who want to believe. It's like the prosperity gospel in a different way. They want to believe Christianity. They want to have all the good parts of Christianity, but they don't want to change anything about themselves. And they would just want to accommodate Christianity to what they want it to be. So they want Christianity to be, Jesus wants you to do whatever you want, including murdering your own baby if you want to. And the Bible never says anything about abortion. So it can't be a sin. The Bible doesn't specifically say abortion is a sin. Well, it's like, okay, well, the Bible also doesn't say specifically that you can't walk into a school with an AR-15 and a certain, magazine on a Monday at like 10:30 in Texas and open fire. Like the Bible doesn't say specifically you can't do that. So obviously it can't be a sin, right? That's like that's the framing that he's using. The Bible says a murder is a sin, which that's what abortion is. And the Bible also talks about, like you said, God knitting you in your mother's womb. And also somebody commented this too, that Jesus himself said that to harm a child would be better for one to have a cobblestone tied to their neck and thrown into the sea. So what? Just because the baby or the child is inside of your body and not outside of your body, that makes it okay? Like, obviously not. And if you watch the videos, I would say I would caution you before doing so. But if you really want to see the horrors of abortion, you should watch an ultrasound of an abortion taking place and watch the baby struggle and watch the baby try to survive and try to avoid what's going on. Like, clearly that is murder. So, but yeah, I agree with you. It is the crowd that wants to make Christianity what they want it to be and not actually have to submit to what Christianity actually is.
Psalm 139, just in case you get in conversations with people. Psalm 139, 13 through 16. Just put that everywhere you can. When somebody says the Bible doesn't say anything about abortion. You created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Psalm 139, 13 through 16. That's number one. Number two, Because see, everything rises and falls on that. You have to be born first to make any of these decisions. So it's interesting that alive people are the ones who are making the claim that God never said anything about abortion. I find that ironic. But then there's this, and you brought it up, and I want to do it very quickly because this actually was the first story in my Hot Flash News Rolodex of stories today. But there's also something that's a really quick argument to use, persuasive argument to use, that you actually walked right into it, JP, and I bet you've heard this too, but it's the SLED argument. The size of a baby. The unborn are smaller than toddlers, but size does not determine human rights. An adult and a small child share the same value. So the size is not a determining factor. The level of development. So a fetus is less developed. By the way, when you say somebody or see somebody using the word fetus, because I'm about to abort my fetus, fetus means little one. But while the fetus is less developed than a born human, this logic is inconsistent. A 6-year-old is less developed than an 18-year-old. But does that mean the 6-year-old has less value than an 18-year-old? Obviously not. Environment. The location inside the womb does not change a being's fundamental value, their environment. And then finally, degree of dependency. So a newborn is highly dependent, right? But fetuses depend entirely on their mothers, but born humans also entirely depend on others to survive. So the SLED argument, Scott Klusendorf is an amazing lecturer on pro-life and abortion. And this is the argument that it's my understanding he developed this years ago. Size, level of development, environment, and degree of dependency. Great tools when you get in discussions with people who say, but the Bible doesn't mention anything about abortion or whatever. Okay. So there's that, putting that out there in the universe. Number 2, trans kids advocating for their humanity, which is tragic because their parents should have never let that happen in the first place. Can we all get an hallelujah and an amen? And then, of course, the existential threat about their campaign is a non-meat campaign. Well, then that's good because that's more steak for JP and I to eat. Huh? What's up? What do you think?
I agree. I think everything you said is correct. And it's just, it boils down to this. You know, the Bible says by their fruits you will know them. It's like if you can, if the fruit of the Bible tells you that, or let me put it this way. If you think the message of the Bible is whatever you want to do is okay, and Jesus will just love you, well, he will love you, but Jesus will tolerate whatever you want to do. And that's just fine. You're totally fine. You don't have to have self-denial, or you don't have to, sacrifice anything of your own. You know, the Bible doesn't tell you to carry your own cross every day. The Bible doesn't tell you to, fight the evil in the world and that, not to become of the world and you will be not liked by the world. Like if you are accommodating and, on the side of worldly values, including abortion and such, and you try to think that that's the Bible and that's the message of the Bible and that's what Jesus wants, then you're not actually in any sort of real relationship with Jesus. Because how does a relationship work? You give, and like you have to sacrifice something, and that's what true love is to sacrifice things that your flesh wants to do, but you know that it's wrong. And that's the part of the relationship, is that's your end of the deal in the relationship with Jesus. But if your relationship with Jesus is fuzzy feelings, Jesus just loves me for everything I want to do, then that's not real Christian. You've totally missed the plot. So, but I think to wrap it up, the evil part of it is twisting scripture, and it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing that you will come and purposefully persuade, because obviously Tallarico knows enough of scripture in the Bible to call himself a pastor, that you are deliberately misleading people and you're deliberately leading people astray. And that's the problem, because he'll go on, I think it was, I don't know if it was Kimmel or it may have been Colbert, and was on the night show and was talking about, they brought him on as like, see, this is what Christianity actually is. And so how many people who genuinely didn't know Jesus and heard this nonsense from Tallarico, and their takeaway was that, oh, well, Jesus can just be whatever I want it to be. How easy, how awesome. How many people were led astray by that? So I agree. And it's a time of false teachers. Like, you have to have discernment and you have to be in the word to know better, because the more time you spend in the word and you're around it, then you can actually get a feel of what it actually is. And it gives you the discernment that when you hear something that's against it, like, you can tell immediately.
It's a good word, JP. Okay. So that's number 1 on the story list for Hot Flash News. Okay. And we don't have to play the regular Hot Flash News sound effects because Allison Sinclair's not here.
Come on.
Unless, okay, fine.
You don't want to?
Okay, fine. We'll play it.
Yeah, I feel like we have to.
Excuse me.
For those who are unaware, that's allegedly what a hot flash feels like. I've never had.
It is what a hot flash feels like. We almost had a hot flash last night. All right.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Numero dos on the story list, because James Tallarico was at the top of the list. Okay. Did you see the Iranian hairstylist, Amy, I don't know her last name, received death threats for posting videos of women receiving haircuts on Instagram? And so what she decided to do was to troll the Islamic regime and their oppressive mandatory hijab laws in the most epic, hilarious way possible by pretending she was doing hair, but the woman had a full headscarf on. She painted color on her, rinsed off the scarf, and then trimmed it. I have to say bravo to this hilarious hairstylist. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah. You should check it out. The Persian Jewess. I follow her on Twitter, on X. It's like, you've got to watch the video. It's a hoot. She literally goes through all of the hairstyling deals.
Here,
all right?
I'll go see if I can find the video.
Go see if you find it, because it's funny. Like, I'm like, that is a troll. Bravo. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is Candace Owens. Ooh, look, we can't go a week without talking about her, because who knows what she's going to say next. But she's threatening to social autopsy people who frequently criticize her online.
What does social autopsy even mean?
Well, I don't know, but it sounds a whole lot like, well, I'm just going to go through their personal lives and I'm going to put it out there. And she's going to dig into the lives of the people who are criticizing her, which is so odd.
Seems like a healthy thing to do.
It seems so healthy. You know, it's like, for somebody who loves to criticize everybody else, the second she gets some criticism.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I found that
Come on,
video.
man. Okay, play it. Flat ironing.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I thought quite a troll. Love it. Okay. And then quickly, Grayson Everett, Yellowhammer, has 2 great stories. One is about the Alabama judge that's suspended, but
Oh, yeah.
he sent a message, or I saw a tweet from him that's saying, this is also on X. Sources tell Yellowhammer that Doug Jones refused to take questions from Boise State delegates that were not pre-screened this morning. 16-year-old kids. What a waste. Great tweet from Grayson. And really, Doug Jones, you can't answer any questions from 16-year-old young men? Weak.
That are unscreened.
Oh, please. That's weak. All right. And finally, the Alabama judge that was suspended. Before we all think, oh, this is terrible, we're just picking on a lady. We're not picking on a lady. All right. A couple of things. Her probate judge, Yeshiba Blanchard, has been smacked with a 120-page complaint accusing her of misconduct in multiple cases. In one case, Blanchard canceled a hearing, forcing a patient to remain hospitalized for 2 additional weeks. The patient will now remain hospitalized for an additional 2 weeks solely due to the lack of timely access to the hearing process, an email from hospital staff read. This does not only prevent her from being home with her family for Thanksgiving, but it also generates unnecessary hospitalization costs and creates avoidable emotional distress for the patient. On another occasion, Blanchard allegedly made a racist comment about white chief clerk Amanda Reed. A staffer was asked by the judge if they liked Reed. When the staffer said they did, Blanchard said, "Oh, I forgot you all like kissing white." Bleep. And then in another case, a clerk asked Blanchard if she could be reassigned to Birmingham because the commute made it hard for her to see her sister who was dying of cancer. Blanchard never responded, and the clerk's sister died shortly after. If these things are true, she should not ever occupy a bench again.
Agreed.
That's shame. Oh, and also apparently she delayed things for walking dogs and stuff.
And what was her name?
Yeshiba Blanchard.
Well, no, what was the dog's name that you gave her?
I gave her the name Buffy.
Buffy.
Which, that's funny because that's my dog's name, but my dog's actual name is Buffalo. Because Buffy needed a walk.
I think I offered up Fufu.
I think Fufu is a great name. What other ridiculous names are there for dogs? I like Fufu.
What's
Sugar.
Yeah, Sugar. What's a good female dog name?
Tiny.
Tiny. Yeah.
What else?
Everybody likes to name their boy dogs Buddy.
Why?
I don't know. One of my cousin's dogs was Buddy. Cupcake.
Cupcake's a good one. I had a dog named Cupcake.
Lollipop.
That's good.
Yeah, all the above.
Sparkle Pants.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Anyway, so we're paying attention to those stories right now. And what are your thoughts? Any thoughts?
That's just so funny to me. It's all, I feel like Alabama, when we get on national stories, it's normally like that.
Yeah, we don't have any of those. Yes, Alabama. We have
Like the Montgomery Brawl,
those stories.
the boat brawl.
Yeah.
What happened to the boat brawl chair, by the way? Remember when
Where
it was a
did
prop?
the boat brawl chair go?
It was a prop that lasted like a
Oh.
week.
It's in the closet because I probably picked it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my kids' toys. Things just disappeared in my house. That just disappeared.
I remember it was a prop in the back for like a week. The first week
was.
we did it.
It was.
We did the show.
That's on me. Probably pretty sure. All right, JP. So what else? Any other stories that caught your attention today before we do Would You Rather?
I don't know if we want to briefly give our thoughts about this redistricting stuff. I don't know if you saw that Steve Marshall officially appealed it up to the Supreme Court. The 6-1 map that was thrown out by the three judge panel, expectedly so. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to talk about it in more days to come about allegedly maybe there being a window to go 7-0 maybe if they would want to. But they've already appealed it up, like I said, expectedly so. But I think the main story from this is that they could have appealed it up to Supreme Court with a 7-0 map and not a 6-1.
Listen, moving to 6-1 is progress. But I wish that we would have just out of the gate 7-0. So we'll see. Interesting times. Again, we're in the news, but sometimes that's how I feel. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
but we'll get it right. I have hope. We'll get it right.
Okay, I got some good deep would you rathers we can do for about
okay.
5 minutes or 4 minutes to end the show here.
All right.
Would you rather see minutes into the future or years into the future?
Minutes.
Yeah, I'd say minutes too.
Because don't you think if you saw, like you said, years into the future?
Yeah.
I might be so caught up in what's coming that I wouldn't do a good job of living where I am.
Agreed.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't want to see too far into the future.
Mm-mm. Like, what am I having for lunch? Am I going to drive through Culver's and get ice cream? Maybe. Like I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
Let's see. Some of these are funny. Would you rather be 30 minutes late or 30 minutes early? I think
30 minutes early.
30 minutes early.
For both of us.
Yeah. Would you rather die in 30 years with no regrets or live to 110 with lots of regrets?
110. Lots of regrets. I've told my kids since the time they were young, like I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to end up living with, but I've told them I'm going to make 100. Like that's my goal. It started out because I watched the Today Show as a kid, and Willard Scott used to interview people, and he'd go to the 100-year-olds. It was a segment sponsored by Smucker's Jam. This is crazy. It's crazy talk. But as a child, I was like, I'm going to get to 100, and I'm going to let Willard Scott, who is now gone, I believe, say my name at 100. That's where my dream came. So 110 years, lots of regrets.
I don't know.
You want no? Do you think from here on you'd say 30 years, no regrets? Are you leaning that way?
I mean, would you rather live a life with regrets?
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't know that I'm living because regret changes how I live now. I course correct for the regrets. I think I would also be terrible if I had no regrets, because that means I did everything right. And I would crumble under the weight of getting everything right all the time.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to define the terms of what we would call a regret.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would lean towards more 30 years with no regrets, though.
Okay. I can see that you would.
Would you rather spend a year at war or a year in prison?
Oh, boy. You could die both places. What do you think, JP?
I'm going to war.
Okay. I'm going to go to war.
No,
I'm going to war. I'm not meant for prison.
No, because you would run the prison. We've talked about this.
But would I?
Yes, you would run
I
the
don't
prison.
know that I would love the roaches, though.
Oh, that's only Alabama prison, so just go
Ugh.
with it.
You know what? I still haven't watched the Alabama Solution. I
Me
need to
neither.
watch that. We probably should have that discussion at some point. Okay, so I would go to war. Now, if I could go to prison with Allison, I'd go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you rather? I got two good ones about you, or not about you, but just about this. Would you rather have people spread a terrible lie about you, or have people spread terrible but true tales about you?
Oh boy. Oh gosh, that's a hard one. You answer that one.
Terrible lie, because then you could just be like, guys,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
that's obviously not true. But if it's a terrible true tale, then you got to be like,
I'm going with you. Terrible lie,
but then you'd have to convince them it's not a lie. But
which
if
is
it's,
really hard to do.
yeah, but if it's true, then you can't convince them it's a lie because it's true.
And then people would really not like you.
All right, we'll do one more. What's a good one here? Would you rather change the outcome of? Oh, we've already asked that one before. Would you rather have super sensitive taste buds or super sensitive hearing?
Ooh, hearing.
Hearing, yeah.
Look at us, twins.
I feel like we normally give the same answers on would you rather's.
I know, JP. Oh my word. Okay, so tomorrow we have John Wall. Friday we have the Bussy Brief. We'll have more great conversation. We'll probably know a little bit more about the MAP situation because that is a national story, and maybe we'll see about this Yeshiba Blanchard and what's going on with her situation. Is more information going to come out there? So much to talk about, so much to cover. But until then, stay on the right side and make good choices. See you next time.